Are you on the fringe? You could be. Find out next on City Corner. I'm Steve Potter and welcome to City Corner. Well, St. Louis Fringe is back. Matthew Kerns is Executive Director and he joins us now. Hi.
Hi, thanks for having us back.
So are you a little on the fringe?
We're a lot on the Fringe. 27 acts on the Fringe this year.
How long has the Fringe Festival been going on in St. Louis?
7 years this year. We have been unleashing voices of now what is hundreds of artists for 7 years.
And it's not an exaggeration to say it's really steadily grown. I think of it as a big deal now. Was it small when it began?
It was small when it began. So we had our original start way back in 2000. It had a life, and then it went to sleep right around 2009, and it woke back up with my predecessor in 2011, and with that, they started with 12 acts, and now this year we're up to 27.
I think we need to explain what it is because I know a lot of people have heard of it, and I talk about it all the time, but you won't believe how many people tell me, I really don't know about it, I've never been to it.
Right.
And it's sort of for St. Louis, it's a unique concept, so why don't you explain that?
So the Fringe Festival is a performing arts festival for independent artists, avant-garde artists, new plays, new musicals. It's 10 days long in Grand Center, and we use 7 stages across Grand Center to showcase this artwork. And you can see everything from new musicals, to new poetry work, to new dance, to new puppeteering shows. This year, we have an encore performance that I'll talk about a little bit later that's gonna be outside of Grand Center in houses around the city. But everything and anything under the sun comes from the Fringe, and everybody should give it a chance because it's so great.
And there's a concept about it too that I want you to explain. It's not, the whole part about walking around and you can see different things and things happening all at the same time?
Yes. So every performance in the festival, there are 3 headline acts and they have full shows.
And they're all in different locations at one time.
They're all in different locations. So we use the Grandel, the Dotzak Theater, the Kransberg Arts Center, all 3 venues in there. We're using the Big Top this year, which is the new venue from the Kransberg Arts Foundation. And we also use an outdoor space as well, where we host our friends Artica, who have been our longtime partner.
And they call it Fringe because these are not maybe the shows you're going to see at the Rep or the Fox Theater or something like that.
That's right, and our history goes all the way back to Edinburgh, Scotland.
Right.
So Edinburgh, Scotland had the original Edinburgh Theatre Festival, and there were 8 companies that came that were told that they weren't going to be allowed to be in the Fringe, in the Edinburgh Theatre Festival. So they went to the outskirt of the festival and created the Fringe. And that's our grandfather, and then it started spreading to North America, and then we are now, like in this iteration, 7 years old. Here in
Well, what
St.
does
Louis.
that mean, Matthew? Does that mean these shows are risque or dangerous or what?
They run the gamut. So, for example, we have a family-friendly show from On a Wing and a Prayer Productions. We have a family series that Compass Improv is going to be teaching improv to kids and doing an improv show with them, and Artica is going to be building tiny totem poles that they're going to have a parade. And then all the way on the other end of the spectrum, our late night headline act is called As We Stumble Along, and it's starring Desires Decline, the female impersonator, and her gaggle of drag queen friends that are doing an improvised Broadway review.
Something for everybody then.
Something for everybody.
Hey, we have a bunch of images from Fringe festivals in the past from here in St. Louis. So to give our viewers just kind of an idea of what they might expect, let's look at those and tell us what we're looking at.
I love these guys. This is Same Difference, their band. They're rap artists, and they're actually going to open up. They won the Spirit of the Fringe Award, which is what this photo is, last year, and so this year they will open up the festival on opening night with a concert.
Those are the awards?
Those are the awards, yeah. You get a pink flamingo because that's our mascot.
I had one in my front yard once. Okay, let's look at the next one.
Yes, last year, this is our national headline act last year. This is A Song for Vanya. And so this was a musical retelling of the Chekhov's play, Uncle Vanya. And what we did here at the Fringe is we put it through the lens of an all African-American cast. And it was just a beautiful piece of work. And these two are phenomenal singers. And they're both actually in the Gringo this year, which is the local headline act.
Let's look at 2 more.
Ah, yes, this guy. So this is Meatball Seance.
There's a story here.
There is a total story here. So this guy is trying to conjure his dead mother by making her famous meatball recipe so her spirit can approve of his new boyfriend and outfit.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Let's look at the next one.
Ah, yes, this was a play, a zombie play actually, done by O'Fallon Theater Works. So they came in and they brought this huge cast of these 1950s, like kind of perfect image people that turned into zombies and ate each other.
Well, Matthew, what does it take to get into the Fringe Festival, and who decides who gets in and who doesn't?
So we're a tiered festival at the St. Louis Fringe, and what that means is we search the globe for a local headline act, somebody who's local, who's really making an impact, a late night headline act, something like our friend Desire Decline, and a national headline act, which is an up and coming musical or play that's going to go through the ranks and hopefully have a commercial career, and we're going to help it grow. And then our second tier are invited artists. These are artists that we know who have participated in the festival and come to us and say, we have a specific piece of work that we've been working on in studio, and we'd very much like to bring it to the festival and try it out. And then everything underneath of those or alongside of them is a lottery, which means we have a fishbowl, we pull your name out, and the stage is yours.
Wow, that's really something. Doesn't
awesome.
that ever backfire on you?
I wouldn't say that it backfires. What I would say is you never know what you're going to get, and some of the most interesting work that we've ever seen at the festival has come out of the lottery.
Do you find that a lot of people that are in the St. Louis Fringe Festival take their acts, because a lot of states have them, right? Do a lot of the people that do it here, do they go other places and do it?
Yes, there is a circuit for the Fringe, and this year, for example, we have Matthew Markham coming back, who has a company called Unconventional Empire, and he's doing a piece called Pollock, a frequency parable, which is about the work of Jackson Pollock. And then we have Monica Diana See coming back to our festival again this year with a new piece about her Greek heritage.
Let's look at some more images from past St. Louis Fringe
Oh,
festivals.
speaking of Matt, so Matt was here last year with this same piece, and it was just a kind of an infant then, and he took it back into the studio and has been working on Pollock for the entire year, has taken it to other Fringe festivals. He's on the circuit right now this summer, and he'll be to us the first weekend of the festival to show us the new iteration of Pollock.
And for those people that don't know who he was?
Jackson Pollock, the painter, yeah.
Right. Sort of a modernist.
Totally. And so you can see here, the videos of Pollock painting are in the background, and in the foreground is Matt, who is a singer and a vocalist and a poet who has created work and primal sounding around this work. It's really such a cool piece.
Let's go to the next one.
Ah, yes. So this was our local headline act last year. I get excited about all of them because I love them all. This was our local headline act last year. This was Era Theater Company's production of Snow White. And we're so proud of Era because Era has been with the festival for a couple of years. And we really have been helping them grow into this full company that they've become. They have their own following now, and they're out there doing amazing things. Like this fall, they're doing the Faustival. So they're taking Faust with 4 other companies, and they're doing 5 months of Faust.
Let's look at 2 more.
Yep. Ah, yes, the Midnight Company. So this is Joe Hanrahan, and
he's a well-known St. Louis actor.
He's a well-known St. Louis actor. He is a lifetime Fringe artist and award winner from us. And he's bringing a new show this year to the festival that he wrote that's something about Cardinals baseball and James Bond.
We'll go to the next one.
Yeah, this was a great play that came in from another city. It really was quite poignant. It was about the life and times of this fellow you see right here, and sold great tickets because the story was deeply compelling.
What do people need to know about attending the festival and how to plan to see what? Because you've got all these things going on over a 10-day period, as you say. Sometimes things are going on at the same time.
Always.
And how do you recommend someone planning?
So let me tell you, the way the artists do it is they have 1 hour. They come in, they get 10 minutes to set up, they have an hour to perform, and they have 10 minutes to get out. So everything is timed really, really fast paced because then the next act starts. So if I'm a patron, what I'm going to do is look at the schedule, which is online, and you can buy tickets online at metrotix.com. And I'm going to plan my day accordingly to that schedule. And we have packages, so you can see, if you buy a hopper pass, it's 5 shows. You get 5 shows across the festival to see.
And you know, we talked about how there's a range of family stuff and things that might not be family. Is that pretty evident before you go in somewhere?
We mark everything that is family friendly, so you know it, and we mark everything that is not family friendly. Like the Ricardis who are coming this year are YouTube cabaret stars who do political humor through opera and musical theater parodies. And somebody said to me yesterday, hey, can I bring my kid to that? I was like, well, probably not. I wouldn't if I were you. But we let people know, because it is humor for adults, but it's really pointed humor that they're going to like, and we have stuff for kids that they're going to like too.
Let's look at some more images from past festivals.
Yeah. Ah, yes. This actually just happened. We have a fundraiser once a year called Act Your Pants Off, which celebrates our burlesque community that are part of our festival. And Alicia Like here, she came in to sing a song from the Gringo at Act Your Pants Off this year. Which is great. So really famous actors from around the city, they come to the Fringe here at Act Your Pants Off, and they perform. And if the judges don't like what they perform, they take their clothes off for a good cause.
I think we've got at least 2 more images. Let's see what we have left.
Yes, so this is Act Your Pants Off too. This is the famous Lola Vanella, who is an international burlesque star.
I've heard of her. She's performed in St. Louis many times.
All the time,
right?
yeah. She's from here, and she actually comes back. She's a friend of the festival and has helped us many, many years. And now she is living in New Orleans and also like traveling abroad a lot to celebrate her her community of burlesque. And this is Desires Decline, who is going to be the star of As We Stumble Along.
I think there's another.
This is Katie Keating. Again, so the charm of Act Your Pants Off, which is what this is from, is actors come in outfits like this, and when they have to like shed clothing, they shed a hat or a pair of sunglasses, or in Katie's case, one of 14 fanny packs that she has on.
14.
Yeah, no less.
I don't even own one. I just want to let you know that.
I know, right?
I'm not sure if we have another image or not. Yes, we do.
Yes, and this is aerialist Melissa Allen, who used to be a Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey aerialist for years until the circus closed, and is now back in St. Louis, where her family is, and performs with us every year.
Okay, but what about this year?
What about this year?
What are the big ones?
So the big ones are As We Stumble Along, The Gringo, and Race Cars and Romance, a new musical.
Now you brought a couple of people along with you today.
I did. I brought some friends from Texas and New York.
And why?
Because I feel like they can share the story of this musical's journey that started as an idea in an oil change shop and is now going to grace our stage as the national headline act.
How many acts are there altogether?
27.
27 over a 10-day period. But
Yes.
do any of them, you say how they get in and out, does everyone perform every day, or how does that work?
Depends. Some people, so the Ricardis are here for one night only, 2 shows on the second Thursday of the festival. Some folks are here for all performances, so they have a show every day, but the time rotates. So they still have to get out, but then they have to have a plan to get back in.
All right. Well, you don't get out yet. You stay.
Okay.
Because we're going to be back right after this. We're going to meet a couple of the performers that are here. It's the 2018 St. Louis Fringe Festival running August 15th through 25th. If you want more information, go to that's STL, let me start over, stlouisfringe.com, right?
STLfringe.com, stloufringe.com, we bought them all.
Okay.
They'll all get you there.
And also, you said MetroTix is where you get tickets.
MetroTix.com.
All right, we'll be back with more City Corner right after this.
Welcome, innovators, dreamers, pioneers of the 21st century. We've been expecting you to come discover your dreams and make your ideas take flight. Just like so many explorers that came before you. Welcome to the hub of opportunity. Welcome to St. Louis. Always exploring.
Potter. Welcome back to City Corner. Today we're talking about the 2018 St. Louis Fringe Festival, which has been around for a while, and I'd like to introduce a couple of guests that have just joined us. To my direct right is Clay Rogers. He has written Race Cars and Romance, which is one of the things that's going to be up at the Fringe Festival, and next to him is Ralph Meitzler.
Yep.
I got that right, didn't I, Ralph?
Got it.
Thank you. He's an executive producer of that production and also acts in it. And at the very end is Matthew Kerns, who's the executive director of the St. Louis Fringe Festival. So welcome all of you.
Thank you.
And Clay, let me start with you because you and Ralph, Matthew brought up the point that a lot of the acts are not from St. Louis and you guys are not. So where are you from and who are you?
Well, I'm from Dallas, Texas, and I got into this adventure because I actually owned an oil change business. I wasn't very good at the business, but it gave me a lot of material for something that I completely enjoy, and that was being an author and writing a story about.
I have to ask you, why weren't you good at the oil change business? You brought it up.
It's just long days and heavy management requirements, and I'm not necessarily a car lover. I like to have a car to take me places.
Right.
But it takes a car lover to be in that kind of business.
I would think so, but well, I've made people in your position very rich over the years by having my oil changed often. Ralph, where are you from and how do you fit into all this?
So I live in New York City, originally from Pennsylvania, and I'm an actor who is trying to add to the toolbox. And I was taking some producing Commercial Theater Institute classes in New York City, and you join an alumni email group. And he took some as well, and we sort of connected in that email chain. He has a show, and we started talking, 6 months ago?
Ralph has Broadway credits, and he is...
Well, I know he's too modest, so why don't you brag on him?
Okay, he's got Broadway credits, and the reason that we've connected so much on this particular project is because he was on the national tour of Something Rotten, and it's a comedy.
That was here not too long ago.
It's a very family-friendly comedy, and the show that I've written is also a very family-friendly comedy. So we connected on the type of show that it was, and he's so well connected. He's brought in some excellent people to work with us.
To piggyback on that, Something Rotten, a dear friend of mine and actually a St. Louis local, Brandon Bieber is coming back, is here with us. We started 2 days ago. Grew up here, and he is our director choreographer, and we worked together not too long ago here in St. Louis at the Fox with Something Rotten.
Wow.
And the female star was also from Something Rotten. Her name is Kate Bailey, and she's flying in right now.
Cool. And I want to brag on Brandon as well. Brandon last week was teaching a master's dance class at Princeton University. So anyone that wants to come see our show is going to see a very high level of dance performance. I'm so excited that Brandon Bieber is part of our team.
So if we weren't clear, it's sort of a dance musical, right?
No, it's a family-friendly, what I call a fairy tale comedy, because it's just a romantic comedy with a lot of dancing in it. And one of the things I did was I tried to bring in a lot of different styles of music in the show. And so Brandon is the guy for me because he can provide choreography for all the variety of songs that we have.
Matthew, as the executive director of the St. Louis Fringe Festival, what's your perspective on these guys and what they bring to it?
My perspective is that it's exactly what I had the vision of when I took it over. I really have always believed that the Fringe Festival is an incubator for new work, and I've always believed that it's a test kitchen and a biology lab, if you will, that our audiences who are so smart here in St. Louis come in and offer their feedback and say, this show is great, I want you to build on this, I think that this could be successful, rethink this a little bit. It's really an incubator for these folks to look at the work and as they're moving it forward into its next iteration.
And Ralph, as an actor and so forth, I would think that being in a Fringe Festival is a little different than being on Broadway or something more traditional for you, right?
Just a skosh, right?
So what's that
Yes.
like? What's it like for you?
I love it. I love the fact that everybody sort of puts on all the hats. We all work together. We all do what we can together, pulling all of our resources. And for me, it's about the creation of things. And in something like this, where you're not just jumping into a show that's, you know, a giant commercial success and sort of paint by numbers, you know, it's a little bit more of us and what we can create and what we can bring to the table. And then we sort of shape something around who we've brought to to the project, and it sort of keeps it life buoyant, keeps it, you know, creative and interesting and new and fun, and it's just a different environment.
Okay, race cars and romance. Now, you told me, Clay, that you used to own an oil change business. So was there romance involved in that? Is that what you're based this on?
Well, I use
Without telling me too much.
I use creative license in some places. The story is focused on a young woman that's a female mechanic, and she's seeking to find professional respect in a man's world. But she also has this need for a very traditional romance. And so she's in an odd place because she's always around these men that don't trust her and they disparage her.
You mean because girls don't know about cars?
Yes, because girls don't know about cars. Can you believe that? And then she meets with a fella that's a down-and-out race car driver, and they kind of team up together, although they're not necessarily friendly at first. So I won't spoil the plot for you, but it's a lot of fun, and it's...
You know, I was just thinking, all the years I've had oil changes, I'm trying to remember if I've ever seen a woman working there. I'm not sure that I have.
I have.
Have you?
The oil change place that I go to over in the Grove, there are a couple of women that work there, and I guarantee they know more about cars than I do.
I'll tell you that about 70% of the material from the show came from my actual experience. And the songs and you know, the characters. We have a pawpaw in the show, and I had a pawpaw that was a customer. I have a Sparky in the show, and I actually had a Sparky. He's a hood tech. I have a Sparky in my actual business. And so there were days that the sun was beating down on us, and all you could do was think of something funny that was happening, going on. But I would say that it's a lot of fun because about 70% of it came from actual experiences. That's going to bother you after you see all these crazy characters?
It's going to bother me. I'm going to go anyway. Matthew, just as an audience member, what strikes you about this show?
I think that it's a new kind of musical that we haven't seen before. That's what strikes me. I'm always looking through the lens of what's the next thing that's happening. And as the musical theater golden age is upon us, it really feels to me like this particular production is something that we haven't witnessed in the canon that's out there, and that's what strikes me.
Well, Ralph, tell me a little bit about the character you play and maybe about some of the others.
Sure. So I play Johnny Ray Ratchet. He's the down
Ratchet?
and out Ratchet.
Johnny Ray Ratchet.
Johnny Ray Ratchet. And he's the down and out race car driver. So a year ago, he was at the top of his game, and there's this Dale Earnhardt, like the star racer, right? Ran me into the wall, and I had to take a year to rehab my knee. And so now this is my comeback. And in having this comeback, you know, I need a little bit of help. I need some sponsorship. I need a new master mechanic. I need this, I need this. So it's just sort of my experience of getting back in the game, getting back on the track. Thank you. It's the name of a song. Yeah, so that's who I am. And to piggyback with this female, the woman in a man's world, I think it's great because we have this progressive, forward-thinking, you know, women mechanics here, but she also has this blend of the traditional. So we're trying to put that together of the traditional romance with this really progressive woman in a man's world and trying to prove herself. So that's the other female lead, yeah.
Right, and there's a secondary theme to the show, and that's that it highlights the different types of relationships that people have. We have the pawpaw and the grandma Myrtle, and you know, people that have been married for 50 years, they kind of have this thing going on, the rapport, and their love romance is very different than what we might find early in life. And then we find, I don't want to spoil the stories, but we have several different connections that go on in a romantic vein.
Well, you got me interested now.
Okay.
But you're not going to tell me, are you?
What I love about this too is, thank you, Matthew. We are bringing in a team from New York. We have the composer, his brother, Clay's brother, is from Portland. He's from Dallas. But we also have Larry, Peggy, Rachel. We have a lot of local talent that we're very excited to work with also. So it's a blend of all different, you know, locations and
Well, how big is the
works.
cast?
12.
Matthew, is that one of the larger ones for Fringe?
It is one of the larger ones. I would say the only larger cast that I know of this year is Michelle Dillard's show that's an original work about the Me Too movement.
And there'd be a lot of just like one-man shows, right?
There are a lot of one-man shows. Solo performance is a great piece of the Fringe Festival.
So I know you said there's dancing, but I wasn't clear. Is it a musical too, or is there singing?
It is a full-fledged Broadway-style musical comedy. And like I said, it's family-friendly, and I call it kind of a fairy tale comedy. My goal for writing the show, when I look at our culture today, I see how everybody is at each other's throats. And I wanted to have this fairy tale so people could go and have an escape. And I wanted it to be family-friendly so we could just go and escape and enjoy laughter. It's a kind of a contest for me to see how many laughs I can get, and if I can get a better laugh out of that line or whatever.
And he counts them.
I count them. Okay, I count them. I'm sorry.
Sits there with a little notepad.
Yes, we were up to
72.
85.
Matthew said earlier that like some of these shows might just be one time, others are multiple times. What's your kind of schedule for this?
Well, he's the driving force behind the show at the moment, so he's an aspiring producer, and we'll see how it goes.
Well, we'll see what happens after the
But I mean, how many times are you performing during this festival?
Yes. Here we have 4. So we have 4 performances, the 23rd at 8, 24th at 8, and then the 25th Saturday at 2 and 8.
And what's your venue?
We are at the Grandel, which is
Oh, that's
beautiful.
fantastic.
The Grandel is beautiful.
Isn't it though? Have you guys done this at other festivals?
This
Not
is my first
this,
one.
No, I just did a Nymph Festival, New York Music Festival in New York City, and it's very different. You know, we'll have a black box with 99 seats, and as you said, you have different tiers too here. You have 45 minutes to do your show, you have 15 minutes to get in, 15 minutes to get out. And you do 5 different shows in one venue. We are blessed to have the Grandel hours for an entire week, and it's 500 seats, and it's wonderful. We're very excited.
A live band of 6 people.
6.
Wow, a live band.
6, and they'll be
yes.
on stage, so it's part of the aesthetic.
Now I see why you're the featured act this year.
Yeah.
right?
We have 2 people that are dedicated to special effects. You know, when you drive into an oil change business that goes ding, 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 okay, put on your seatbelt.
A car doesn't go up in the air, does it?
No,
You'll
this
just have to
shot.
wait and see.
not yet.
But
Yeah,
we
right.
have lots of special effects, racing noise and
Well,
motor
we want
noise.
to welcome you to St. Louis and hope you have a great time
Thank
here.
you
I
so
think you're
much.
really going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Matthew Kerns, thanks so much, and good luck on this festival. You don't need good luck; it's going to be great.
Thank you
And
so
we hope
much.
people will turn out to see it. Again, get tickets at MetroTix,
Metrotix.com,
or go to your website, which is
STLFringe.com.
August 15th to the 25th. It's a 2018 St. Louis Fringe Festival. Clay, Ralph, and Matthew, thank you for joining us today, and we'll look for
Thanks,
you
Steve.
in Grand Center.
Yeah.
I'm Steve Potter. Thank you for watching, and come back next time.